Hello, everybody. Cobra Axis and Allies here. So, I brought you back to the Global 36 board, and this is going to be a overview of the setup and also some recent news. Now, my group is probably not going to be able to get together to actually play this out in a full capacity because of, um, in light of the recent COVID events and how much that's affecting the world right now. So this game's probably going to end up becoming a single solo play, but I may have maybe one person over here for a few hours or so. But yeah, so and what I've also done is set this back up. So instead of 1936, I'm going to be trying out 1939 for the first time, and that's basically because of the fact that I don't want this game to go on too long, so maybe a few days or so. So hopefully 1939 kind of shows that or gives me that experience and provides something new. Like you can put a lot of expansions on this and everything, but we'll have to see how 1939 is going to affect the game. Now, I know a lot of you guys that play 36 don't usually play 39, so this setup or overview will kind of show you guys that. So I guess first up, America really we won't really focus on them because they haven't changed really at all. Uh, Real quick, we've got the Graf Spee down there in South America. That's my own setup choice. That's something that carried over from that I ended up putting on from a Historical Board Gaming's version 1 1939 game that came out a while ago, and I liked having that cruiser down there to represent the Graf Spee. So I've got that and a Convoy Raider because I'm playing with the Battle of the Atlantic. Now, one of the biggest things is the air forces. So you can see here with Britain, we've got what are they called? Task force marker there. And also in Germany, there's a bunch of task force markers. And you can see a few planes on the map, but the task force markers are representing this. And so you can see there's a ton of aircraft that Germany is fielding. And yeah, here's Berlin. Again, just a huge amount of aircraft. And these two here, I'm playing with the elite fighter squadron, so there will be a couple more aircraft too. You can see too with London being absolutely stacked with fighters and bombers and everything. We're ready to kind of take it to the Axis. France is looking pretty stacked too, uh, especially because of the fact that Germany really a lot of their army, like their really big field armies, like over here and here, their medium tanks and everything that can blitz, is primed for Poland and not really France. And I mean, that's kind of the historical sense of 1939 is, Poland gets invaded, then Germany goes for France. So this first turn, Germany's probably not going to be able to hit France. I'm probably going to try to bomb the crap out of it with like pretty much all my aircraft just to take off as much as I can because France has a lot of units and a pretty decent economy right now, so they'll probably get a turn in of buying stuff before I can divert my attention back towards the Western Front. So, not much happens with the neutrals. Italy is looking pretty stacked too, with some light armor, a couple more aircraft here and there. Their navy really doesn't get changed much. Same with Egypt over here, although there is a lot more mechanization, of course. Ethiopia is conquered now. I guess not much going on up here. The Russian Navy, though, I gotta say, I've just been using the out of box Navy for Russia because I really haven't needed that much, but this has definitely showed me with destroyers and submarines. Russia starts with a huge amount of them in 1939, and so I've had to make substitutions. So if it says two coastal subs, I just put a sub down because I have nothing to represent that. But I don't usually play with 1939, and I didn't intend, like when I was building my setups and everything and painting. So it's not really something that I, want to go out of my way to get more units for. Russia overall is doing pretty decent in terms of their opening setup, although there's a lot less mechanization. Uh, Russia starts with a lot of like light tanks and motorized units in 1936, but in this setup, they get replaced with a lot of cavalry and infantry. And I know that from a historical standpoint, that's because of the purges and everything. It made Russia go back to like a more conservative military style, where a lot of the generals decided to demechanize because they felt like it was too much money and too much training required for all the forces in Russia. But we'll have to see how that plays out against Germany. We got the Soviets do have a pretty decent bombing force. You can see we've got a medium bomber there. Moscow is pretty big, pretty aircraft central territory. The Japanese are one of the most notable changes, I guess, especially here. We've got some Russian forces on the Manchurian border. But yeah, the Japanese, you can see that they've now got, I think, two more ships. It was a fleet carrier and heavy cruiser. But then you can see we've got Japanese aircraft in, or a lot of Japanese bombers actually, in the actual Isles of Japan, and another medium bomber in China, with small Japanese landings in China. Not too substantial though, so we'll also have to see how that plays out because of the fact that Japan right now, they're not in a good position to, like swoop in down here or anything. So their main focus, like for the first turn, is like pretty much a lot of like probably SNLF Marines, and then go in full for China. Anzac really didn't change much either. They got an extra transport, and like I said before, America really didn't get too much. They have a militia on Hawaii, and I guess a few more aircraft in the Pacific Northwest. You can see, and those are some of my newly painted aircraft. They're metal aircraft from Pico Armor that I showed you guys a while ago, but I'm gonna have to do a painted review on. So, yeah. But overall, we're gonna have to see how this one plays out. And sorry about that focus, but yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little look at what's gonna be going on and the new 1939 setup. It's kind of a bummer that the whole group isn't going to be able to get together, but gives us something to look forward to, hopefully in the summer, I guess. So yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out then, and I hope to see you guys again. Cobra, out.